What's going on, guys? Friday, the 13th of January. Happy birthday, Pop. I hope it's a good one for you. I am out in Alabama. I actually flew out to Atlanta Thursday morning at like midnight, right? Like 12:20 a.m. We took off. I got into Atlanta around 6 a.m. Took a while to get out of the plane to get where I was going. And then, of course, had to get to where meetings I had. Meetings were later in the day. I got there a little earlier than anticipated, so I'd found me a Waffle House downtown. Ended up walking with a Waffle House coffee cup because it's just one of those weird quirks of mine. I go to Waffle House. I love those old kind of cups. Now I'm carrying on a coffee cup where I'm at and drive out to Alabama. An interesting thing about my flight, I do this all the time, constantly in the air. You guys know that. Going through security in Arizona, and the person sitting behind the X-ray just 100% believed I had a straight razor in my backpack, and they tore me apart 3 times trying to find this straight razor she knew was in there. Nobody else physically would find it. She wouldn't get her ass up off the chair to come over there and look, but she just would run it through. It's like, nope, it's right here. You got to go find that. And kept saying straight razor. And everybody's like, straight razor. And I have people kind of gather around. It's like, this boy's carrying a straight razor onto the airplane. They never found it. I literally was there for like 45 minutes to an hour before I had to get up to my flight, and literally they're calling the boarding. I'm walking right onto the flight because I was early, 2 hours early, and they sucked all that time up sitting in a belief that I had a straight razor. So she was fighting everybody. They couldn't find it, just fighting it. You guys aren't seeing it, but she wouldn't get off her ass to come look. So kind of interesting. When somebody gets something in their head, they are not going to give up no matter what anybody else says. So got to be cautious of people like that when they can't get something out of their head, regardless of what the situation is. Regardless of what they're being shown, sometimes they can't get stuff out of their head. We're seeing that with the interest rate thing, right? People can't get it out of their head. The interest rates are what's making their deal. So I'm going to go anywhere I got to go to get my rate. I'll go to 7-year. I'll go to 10-year. I got to get my rate. It's not about the rate, guys, at all. Remember, it's about the deal. Look at the numbers. Look at the fundamentals. Look at everything else going on with the deal, right? Can you keep the property reasonably rented for the entire time you own it, or can you raise rents? That's what you're looking for. What's going to be expenses on this thing? People are so wrapped up in cash on cash returns, buying shitty properties. They got to put a ton of money into to keep them up. The tenants that they're getting suck at what they're at being a tenant, making it miserable and costing them money every time they turn it over. And it doesn't matter what the rate didn't do anything for them in that scenario. They bought a crap property. So remember that. I'm sitting out here in Alabama right now, met with some folks I do a lot of business with out here. They were showing me that the numbers they're giving today at the higher rates are better. The returns are better on their properties than they were for those who got those properties from them when they were 3%, 4%, and 5%. Because of the cost of those properties, people bidding these up so damn high, comparatively speaking. So when you start looking at all things, race don't matter. There's a lot more to it. So this week we had Wells Fargo say they're getting out of the mortgage game. Now, I've been watching a lot of data on it, watching some people's reports on it. CFPB came in, just punched the crap out of them, cost them a lot of money. So like, want something? We're not going to put us at risk anymore with the CFPB wanting to come out and put the hammer down on people that are taking payments from the consumers. So we're going to go ahead and just get out. I don't know what that does for the mortgage industry. Now, if it helps us or hurts us, I know it's going to make more deals available. So those of us who are in it will have more opportunity. But I don't know how that does for secondary markets. I don't know how it does for servicing things because they're a big servicer as well. So I don't know how that shakes out. Could be good, could be really, really bad. We had the CPI come out this week, Consumer Price Index. Sorry. This whole trip, guys, I went 56 hours without sleep. I finally went to bed last night late, and I got 7 hours. So give me a little bit of clemency here. My mind's not working quite the way that it always does. So Consumer Price Index came out. Reading was exactly what they expected to be. So it helped the bonds, but didn't help the bonds, right? So let's take a look at the charts. We'll see what I'm talking about here. So we kind of make sense of this thing. So here we've got the charts that we're always saying, right? Every one of these represents a day's trading. When it's green, it starts lower, it goes higher. It means it traded higher that day, meaning more money went into the market that day, meaning interest rates got a little bit better that day because there's more volume, more things to lend out. So supply and demand. The greater the supply, the lower the price, right? The lower the supply, the higher the price, just like anything. So we're watching every day. These lines are moving averages over periods of time. And so we've got everything from a 14-day, a 35-day, a 50-day, a 100-day, and a 200-day. Right now we have the 100-day, which is awesome. That's way down here. Great support, right? And then we got 200-day up here, which would be our resistance. We have other Fibonacci levels and other levels that your traders will look at and use as where they place their buy orders and their sell orders, right? So be possibly your sell orders here, buys down here, and now down in here. So what we've got where CPI came out, and forgive me, I'm pretty sure it was yesterday, we had massive swinging in the market as a result of that, right? So yeah, CPI came out on Thursday. That was yesterday. I was running on that 55, 56 hours straight. So look at all the swing you had. That was a big volatile day. We still ended up high. It ended up closing high. But now today we're opening lower. We're opening on the same spot, just a little bit lower when we opened with the CPI numbers coming out, right? And then, you know, we're hanging this lower spot. So what I've been claiming these last few days, this is a lot situation. This is, I'm looking at this is, I would be locking all through here. I wouldn't care which day here, I'd be locking all through here, because look at our what I call what is called a stochastic chart. This tells you when things start to fizzle out, the buying kind of slows down and it starts going below the 3-day moving average. That's when you risk it going down, and we start seeing this going into the lower parts of these channels. Lower parts of channels means the cost for the rate will go up. So I like to lock in the upper parts of the channels. I like to lock when the channels are going up. I like to lock at the upper part of the channels, because a lot of times you're not going to get the settled in price right here at the upper part of the channel. You're going to get the day before's price. So those are those kind of things that you want to, that we watch. And you want to communicate with Scotty on my team about the rate. He will guide you through this. This is Scotty's job all day, every day. He talks about rate. He helps you understand the various rates available on the grids that we get and what those costs are and which ones make sense. And you can make what makes sense for you. Talk it through. Let us be consultants, and you get to make the decision. You're the CEO of real estate investment business. I'm just going to caution you guys, don't get sucked in by the rates. I'm sorry, by the arms. Don't get sucked in by that kind of stuff. You will lament it at some point. So appreciate you guys. Have a great Friday the 13th. I'll see you guys on Tuesday.